Hey everybody, Chris Moore here from Barbell Shrugged and the Barbell Buddha Podcast, back with you with some more handy dandy tips. This time, I'm advising you on how to beat the bitch that is tendonitis. If you're going, yeah, tell me about it, then you have had tendonitis. If you don't know what the big deal is, then let me say, you have not had it. For me, I've struggled with years, all through my powerlifting career, with bicep tendonitis in my shoulders. I've had it in my forearm from bench pressing too much and squeezing, this tennis elbow situation. I've never had it in my knees, but you can get it in your knees. I think I'll focus on the shoulder because that's what my biggest problem. I've had it so bad at times where I couldn't even bench press 100 pounds without the shearing pain. I've beaten it back thanks to some helpful handy dandy tips, some of which I'm going to tell you now. Your first line of attack is the acute stuff, right? You've got pain, you try to get rid of it. You can do anti-inflammatories like ibuprofen and stuff, that works. You can gnash out the area, you can roll it out, you can get in there and try to get the knots out with acute therapies and try to feel better from session to session. You can plead to the heavens for mercy. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Try everything, I'll tell you. But really, the chronic and the habits and the patterns are what are going to get the problem away. First things first, you need to check your conditions. This is the first thing I had to do when I beat back my problems last February. February 2013, I had a really bad tendonitis problem. First things first, are you drinking enough water? I drink most of my water after it's been heated and passed through coffee grinds. Turns out that's not good enough. You need to drink a lot of water. If your pee's running clear, you're probably good. I wasn't anywhere close to that. So if you're having a problem, up it a little bit and see if that makes you feel better. Fish oil is a big one. You might be taking fish oil now, 1 or 2 capsules a day of that stuff you got from the local grocery store or whatever. I would say it's not that high quality, and if you want a medicinal effect, I don't know if that's really a word, you want a treatment effect from that, you want to have your inflammation go down from the properties of fish oil, I'd say you need to go with an upgraded fish oil. My all-time favorite for this particular course of action is a stronger, faster, healthier brand, SFH, I think. You can search it, get you some, try it. You don't need to take it forever. It is a little pricey, but trust me, 2 or 3 doses of that a day will really, really make a big difference. I'm not joking. Proactive mobility, it's one thing to try to get out of an acute problem, but it's another thing to proactively treat yourself and maintain mobility in these areas every time you train. So for me, what I started doing is every training session, stretching the shoulders, really being proactive and making sure that I wasn't getting overly tight in these areas, working on my thoracic mobility and my scapular function. All that has made a really big difference. Sleep, the key with sleep is it's so much more important than you could ever really imagine. I've been really bad at it. I know you probably have cut hours here and there when times got busy. You need to think of sleep as the most #1 thing that's holding back your strength, your recovery, your pain, your mental productivity, everything. Get 8 to 9 hours. For every hard hour of physical activity, labor, training, whatever, add another hour. I know it sounds luxurious, but go for it. It'll make a huge difference. Lastly, blood work. I got my blood work done at the peak of my tendonitis ills. Turns out my vitamin D, surprise, surprise, was a little low. I was underhydrated, my DHEA was low. Overall hormonal function a little bit compromised just from sitting too much, being too busy, not getting to sleep, not drinking the water. The blood work will help you see specific things that no matter how much training adjustments you do, you're not going to get rid of the problem unless you adjust in those things. So get with a good physician, get your blood work, get interaction, know where you stand. The last thing I have here has to do with the acute programming adjustments you might make. Well, not acute, the long-term programming adjustments. First things first, let's say you're having problems with the bench press. You need to think about how often you're pressing, so jerking, push pressing, bench pressing, push-ups. How often are you stretching this and producing force? First things first, spread out the loading. So if you're going heavy, 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 spread out the loading sessions and go heavy, light. Light could be just a few reps, it could be speed work, but space things out a little bit. You might feel like you're going to get weaker. Trust me, you will not get weaker. Hit it hard, but rest harder. That might help. A second point, it comes to movements like the squat. Those can contribute to your problem. You might think it's just bench because it hurts then, but for me, the biggest culprit was I was doing a lot of low bar squatting. When you have a low bar position, the bar is a little lower in your back, and to hold on, you're gonna stretch a little more throughout here. I learned that might be a problem when I was studying the training of Russian powerlifters. Turns out, they do a lot of variety, surprise, surprise, in their squatting. They'll do high bar squats, they'll do low bar, because you can lift more weight and load the body differently. They'll do some front squatting, but they have that variety to mitigate problems that might happen from doing the same type of lift over and over and over again. So you might feel really comfortable in one way of squatting, but trust me, if you're getting really, really, really stretched over and over and over again, and you also want to bench a lot, and you also want to do a lot of push-ups and jerk and whatever, you're going to have problems. So, hit it acutely to take away the pain, but think about the conditions. Water, better fish oil, spend the money. Be proactive with your mobility, sleep more, get your blood work done, and think about what you're doing that's causing the problem. Until you solve those chronic issues, you're not going to feel better. I hope you dig the tips. If you have any comments or questions, leave them below, and I will address them. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.